The Beltrami County Board meeting to order. To stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Didn't write anything up for my general comments for tonight, but I would like to extend my condolences to the Hortman family for the tragedy that was all over the news earlier this week. And also for Godspeed to the health of the Hoffman family. And thankful to all the law enforcement for their diligent work in catching the alleged perpetrator. Very thankful for all of our law enforcement and the work that they do day in, day out, and the danger that they put themselves in for our safety. So those are my general comments. And next we'll have anyone wishing for the citizens addressing the board. Anyone wishing to address the county board on an item not on the agenda may come forward at this time to be recognized by the board chair. Please state your name and address for the record. Comments are limited to 5 minutes. A personnel complaint against an individual county employee may not be heard initially at a board meeting. Personnel complaints may be submitted to the board in writing through the county administrator's office. A person addressing the board may not use profanity or vulgar language. Is there anybody wishing to address the board this evening? Not seeing anybody here. I assume nobody online, Diane? Okay, so we will move on to the approval of the agenda. Commissioner Wingert?
Move to approve the agenda as.
We have a motion to approve the agenda as presented. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Carlson. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the agenda, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The agenda is approved 5-0. Approval of the consent agenda. Do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Gould. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Commissioner Carlson. Any discussion on any of the consent agenda? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the consent agenda, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Consent agenda is approved. We have no regular agenda items, so we'll move right into our commissioner reports and legislative lobbying issues. And I think we have about a 45-minute presentation from Commissioner Sumner he was talking about earlier. So.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll do my best to fill the time till our next 6 o'clock meeting.
Thank you, Commissioner Sumner.
All right, well, it's for commissioner updates.
Yep.
I attended the Deep River One Watershed, One Plan last Monday. Also had the management team last Wednesday, the opioid committee meeting this past Monday. AMC District 2 meeting on the 2nd, and AMC board meeting this Friday. And that's what I have for my, and the Black Duck ambulance meeting, we're still trying to figure out whether we're gonna meet or not this coming Thursday, being that it's a holiday.
Because of the
closure of the.
the counties and stuff, yeah.
So we're still trying to figure that out. But that's my report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Sumner. Commissioner Wingert?
Yeah, I did attended the Basque meeting on the 11th and behavioral health on the 12th. Those both went well. This morning we did the solid waste. It is, and I did bring this little sheet with for the waste and recycling workers week. So he showed a nice little video. That's a YouTube video if anybody's interested. About all I got.
Great. Commissioner Gould?
Thank you. I've had some housing and libraries related committee meetings lately. Happy Summer is officially finally here with Music on the Mississippi had their first program on Wednesday, and second one will be tomorrow night. That's always a fun community event. I don't know, they had maybe 1,000 people or so down there last week, so that was great. Little more pontoon areas to pull up to too with the a couple of new docks down there, so that's great. I went to the County Wellness Expo, visited all the vendors and booths that were here on campus last week. So shout out to the employees that put that together. That's becoming a very positive annual event. And I just wanted to thank you, Mr. Chair, for your text early on Saturday morning. I know you texted all of us regarding the violent murderous attacks that took place, and I just wanted to personally thank you for letting us know, and thank our law enforcement agencies across the state. It's a very frustrating, sad event. You know, personally, I'm feeling sad and angry and anxious and on extra alert. You know, our addresses are public, and so anytime we go to a public event, or just at our homes lately, you know, it's good to be cautious. There's certainly no place for political violence in our democracy, and I would stress that message to everybody and share that. So thanks again.
Thank you, Commissioner Gould. Appreciate that. And Commissioner Carlson?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Congratulations to Commissioner Gould. He was reelected to the vice chair of the second district for the AMC. And so congratulations for that. That was Commissioner Sumner, Commissioner Gould, and myself that attended that, and it's always a good event. I'm glad that I've been able to go each time. Sometimes I know you can't get to everything, you know, but I think that was good. I think they did a nice job. Attended my monthly Prime West Joint Powers Board meeting. There is, as Matt had mentioned, there's some challenges from year to year, you know, whether you're making a lot of money or not making a lot of money. And a lot of times you just don't know because of the health of the pool of those folks. So they had a challenging year last year, but as Matt said, the reserves are, you know, many millions of dollars. So there's no sense in having to overreact and do that. So, but this year there won't be the community grants like there has been in the past, just simply because of that. So in the years when they have the excess, then they can rebuild the reserves and then also come out with the competitive grants. So we won't be doing any competitive grants this year from Prime West. Jail Design and Operations Committee, as I had mentioned before, we're working through some ideas that Klein McCarthy's trying to take a look at that footprint of the building over there, what can be done, what can't be done. One of the biggest challenges of that building over there is that all of the mechanical and electrical stuff is sort of way over on the south side of the building. And in trying to save, if you're only trying to save the Sally port and reuse that, how do you incorporate all those? It's sort of a nightmare. So we're trying to work through all that. What are potential uses? As Steve had mentioned, the FCA, the facility condition assessment, was done by Kraus Anderson. And the building's not terrible condition. The condition was fair, but still a jail. You know, and so the condition of the building may be okay, but what do you use it for? I mean, you've got a bunch of concrete and metal bars and things inside, and organized in a way that's the way the structure is built for the jail. There's a lot of columns and things that can't be moved because they're structural. And so you try to work around that, and it's been a little frustrating trying to figure out, is it even savable, you know? And so now the next step is we're having Kraus Anderson come back and look at what Klein McCarthy's doing. And I'm filibustering to help fill in the time because Commissioner Summer didn't do it. So it's how do you put a price tag then on if you try to save the whole building because the condition's fair, but the remodel would be so extraordinarily expensive. So Kraus Anderson's going to try to put some numbers to these different ideas that Klein McCarthy had, to give us a better idea of where's going to be the best bang for our buck. And I think, and I'm going to pose this to all the commissioners because this question is going to come up. do we as a county want to be in the leasing business? Or do we want to leave that to private businesses? And because that's really kind of what it comes down to. It's a building that's going to be vacated by the county. And if the county wants to get in the leasing business, that's something and I'm not asking for anybody to, but be thinking about, that's a question that we have to answer as a board. If we tried to save that building, then that means we're in the leasing business, and it means that we're in the restoration business and all of that to try to make it fit for some entity. So be thinking about that. So that won't be a surprise as it comes up. Anyway, so enough on that, unless you have, is there any questions on that jail thing? Any further questions about that?
I was just, wondering where we're at. I know I had talked to Administrator Barry about it, and he made it sound like we were probably sometime in July, we would have at least some fleshed out, 3 different options kind of a thing. And to me, it's a matter of, to me, the budget drives the project, not the other way around. And, we're going to have X amount of money out of our sales tax money that we can use to do what we need to do over there. And if it makes sense within that budget to have something, then we can look at it. If it's going to be more expensive than that to remodel it, to try to have lease space, and we don't have necessarily leases or whatever to take that space, or we're taking away from tax paying entities. I think that it should be pretty self-explanatory, I think, once we finally get those numbers.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Exactly. Thank you. And then Airport Affairs Council, it's different than the Airport Authority. The Airport Affairs Council is a mixture of people that just are interested in aviation and aviation related activities. And so they're trying to help, they're trying to help give community input to the Airport Authority, because we can't be everywhere and do everything. And so they give us ideas of what things that they would like to see. And as an authority, then we either say, yeah, that sounds like a good idea, let's do it, or not. And so I attend those every month. And I did also go to the Employee Health and Wellness Expo, but I went really early because I had a golf that afternoon.
Oh,
But I got there right at about 11 and whipped around quick, but yeah, but it's really good. And again, like Commissioner Gould said, shout out the employees that put a lot of effort into having that. The only thing I was disappointed that they didn't have the food truck with the pork sandwiches, because that was really good last year.
I think they were supposed to be there and something came up. I
Yeah,
did
I
read
know.
that a truck had to pull out last minute.
Yeah, so that was unfortunate. So they had coffee and cookies, but for coffee's okay, but I don't need the cookies. And then I had a Dancing Sky area agency meeting on Monday. And that's it.
thank you, Commissioner Carlson. I had a Polk County Joint Powers meeting on Wednesday last week, and things are in flux pretty good there. We were still waiting to find out for sure what we would get or not. We pretty much assumed that we wouldn't get any funding for the 9-county demolition landfill thing, and that's not looking like that's happening. So we're kind of, from the solid waste standpoint locally, we're looking at the worst case scenario at this point and figuring that we're probably going to have to plan for the demolition landfill closure. Of course, the state is basically penalizing you if you don't do it right away, then it's going to cost you more, because then even though you've already put final cover on a good chunk of it, they're going to probably make you put like a vinyl cover over the entirety of it, even though you've already accomplished putting a bunch of clay that's non-permeable on top of it. So it's a little frustrating, but we're not going to jump to recommend something to the board initially, because things can change, and we're going to try to continue to push for an exemption or an extension of our current permit, which our current permit expires in 2029, at the end of 2029. But we've got a good 10 years worth of capacity if we could just somehow get the MPCA to play ball and or the legislature to cancel or not implement the rules as soon as they're planning. So stay tuned for that. I had a fair board meeting last night, and we had some damage was done. I don't know exactly when, but I alerted our facilities manager, Steve Shadrick, earlier today and put him in touch with Burl Wernberg, from the Fair Board to, she's got the police case number and stuff. It appears that somebody went and like whacked a hammer or something in along a bunch of the doors that, like 5 of the different big metal sliding doors, just for vandalism apparently. And so I'm gonna have Steve work with her to check that out. And the road by the fairgrounds has come along nicely. The dirt work, prep work is done, and now they're gonna work on getting the curb and gutter done, and targeted to get that done very, very early August before the fair is done, to have that whole project completed. So that's getting there. At our solid waste committee meeting this morning, we talked about the rates. Right now, it's looking like we won't have a tipping fee increase from Polk County from our joint powers for next year. It's not 100%, but that's the way it's looking, so that's good news. And got our airport authority meeting tomorrow night, HRDC meeting Thursday night, and Mississippi Headwaters board meeting on Friday. So we've got a busy rest of the week here. So that's all for me. I don't know who's Commissioner Gould. Yeah, who's got the chat about for tomorrow? Is that Commissioner Gould? And then what management team? Who's next? Is that you also? Yep. So okay. And what's that? Yeah. So we are at 5:17. I think that is all we have until our 6 o'clock. We are going to have our Board of Adjustment meeting, and our county assessor, Caleb Bessler, will be in here. And so we are going to adjourn until 6 o'clock. Oh, yeah. Well, I technically wouldn't, but yeah, we'll have a motion to adjourn just to be that way. Motion by Commissioner Sumner, second by Commissioner Carlson. All in favor of adjourning? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Technically, we don't have to,